They didn't miss you when you were begging, but the second you start healing suddenly, they can't live without you. If that hit you, you're not imagining it. Imagine you finally go quiet. You stop explaining, chasing, proving. Maybe you block them, maybe you just detach. Then your phone lights up. I've been thinking about you, I miss you. Can we talk? And suddenly, hope, guilt, confusion. Maybe they changed. Maybe you should answer. If your heart is whispering, maybe this time is different, that doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. Missing them doesn't mean you should return. Your nervous system can crave the familiar even when it was harmful. This is what they want you to believe. They came back because they realized your worth. But here's what's really happening. Your availability changed, and that disrupts their access, control, and supply. That's why it hits hard. It's a pattern. In a minute, I'll show you the stage where they come back and why it feels so convincing. Once you see it, you'll know how to respond without getting pulled into the trauma bond again. Before we talk about what to do, you need to understand what's actually happening in their psychology when you move on. When you move on, it doesn't just hurt their ego, it threatens their entire system of control. Here's what's really happening. A narcissist doesn't attach to you the way a healthy partner does. They attach to what you provide. Attention, admiration, emotional reactions, access. That's narcissistic supply, and it functions like fuel. When you stop feeding it, they feel it as a threat, not a breakup. You think they're reaching out to reconnect, but it's actually a bid to re-establish access, because your independence is the one thing they can't tolerate. This is called entitlement in psychology, the belief they should have you on demand. And when that entitlement gets challenged, it creates what's known as narcissistic injury, an inner hit that often leads to pursuit, rage, or both. There's also something called poor object constancy. In simple terms, if you're not right in front of them validating them, you disappear emotionally. So they don't miss you consistently, they miss control when it's gone. That's why they pop up the moment you set a boundary, start dating, glow up, or go quiet. Scarcity triggers pursuit. And for you? It hits harder when you're healing because the trauma bond is breaking. Your brain is in dopamine withdrawal from intermittent reinforcement, those rare good moments that kept you hoping. So one sweet text can feel like relief, not safety. Once you understand this, their messages stop feeling magical and start feeling predictable. Knowledge turns confusion into strategy for you. In Section 3, I'll break down the first 3 ways they come back, so you can spot it immediately. If their message made your stomach drop, it's because it was designed to hit the exact part of you that still hopes. Tactic 1 is the soft return. Picture this. You've been silent for weeks, you're finally sleeping again, and then just checking in. Hope you're okay. Or the sweeter version, I saw something that reminded me of you, made me smile. It sounds like care, but it's actually a door test. This is what they want you to believe. They're being mature and gentle. Here's the truth. They're checking if access is back on the table and whether you'll reopen the loop. You're not imagining the timing either. Tactic 2 is the crisis hook. Suddenly there's an emergency, a health scare, a broken car. I can't do this without you. If you've ever felt that instant panic, this is why. Crisis creates urgency, and urgency bypasses boundaries. You think they need you, but what's really happening is they need a reaction, because reaction equals connection. A narcissistic mother might go, "After all I've done for you, you can't even answer." That guilt is the hook. Tactic 3 is the pseudo-accountability apology. I'm sorry for everything. I know I wasn't perfect. I miss what we had. Listen for the missing piece, specifics and a change plan. No details, no repair, no sustained action, just a vague fog meant to reset your empathy. They frame it as growth, when really it's an emotional reset button. And if they add, "Can we just start fresh?" That sentence predicts what comes next. They'll ask you to drop the boundary. You'll see this at work too. "We miss your talent. Can we talk?" No hard feelings. And here's the empowerment part. Once you can name the tactic, you can slow down. You don't have to reply from shock, guilt, or longing. You'll know exactly how to respond without spiraling. Wait until you hear Tactic 5 later, because it looks like genuine growth. But here's where it gets worse, because when the soft methods don't work, they escalate. And this is where most survivors get rehooked. The more you heal, the more strategic they can become, because they study what used to work on you. Tactic 4 is the triangulation return. It shows up as, I'm seeing someone, but I still think about you. Or the sharper version, she understands me in ways you never did, but you'll always be special. This is what they want you to believe. You're still chosen. Here's the truth. Competition activates your trauma bond. It turns your nervous system into a scoreboard, and suddenly you're tempted to prove your worth again. That spike in jealousy and urgency isn't romance, it's a trigger. Then comes Tactic 5, and this one rehooks the strongest because it looks like growth. The future faking comeback. I booked therapy. I'm ready to be the man you deserved. Let's start a new chapter. I'll marry you, I'll change, I'll do whatever. It sounds like accountability, but it's actually a shortcut around it. They're offering a fantasy future to bypass the present reality. Here's the part they don't tell you, and it's the revelation that clears the fog. They often return because your emotional availability dropped, not because their love suddenly matured. When you stop responding, stop begging, stop orbiting them, it creates scarcity. Scarcity hits their control addiction, so they deliver a grand speech to reopen access. If they wanted to change, it would show in consistent behavior before access, not in a heartfelt monologue designed to get access. Watch for this tell. Big promises, zero patience. If you ask for time or boundaries, they get irritated. That irritation is the proof the change is leverage, not love. And yes, the I'm in therapy text can be a trap, because therapy language can be used as a costume, not a commitment yet. And when future faking doesn't work, Tactic 6 escalates into the smear-to-seduce cycle. They punish you publicly, then pull you privately. One day you hear everyone thinks you're unstable, and that same night they text, I miss you, I know the real you. They frame it as protection, when really it's isolation. If they can damage your credibility and split your support system, you're more likely to return to the one place they control the narrative. Watch the bait-and-switch pattern. Praise, then pressure, then punishment. You're not stuck here. Their predictability is your power, because once you can name the escalation, you can interrupt it. In the next section, I'll give you exact response scripts that stop the cycle, because the goal isn't to win the conversation, it's to protect your healing. You don't need the perfect comeback. You need a response that protects your nervous system. This is what they want you to believe. You need closure before you can heal. But here's what's really happening. Closure is often the hook. Healing comes from consistency, not contact. And if you feel urgency when they reach out, that's not intuition. That's your trauma bond getting activated. The first protection is the pause. When a message hits and your heart starts racing, do nothing. Put the phone down, screenshot it if you have to, and give yourself time. Even 24 hours can interrupt the dopamine rush that pulls you back into reaction mode. When you pause, you move from survival to choice. Next is the one-sentence boundary. Not an explanation, not a debate, just a line that protects your peace. I'm not available for personal contact. Please keep messages to logistics only. Or, I won't discuss the past. Accountability requires consistent change over time. One sentence works because it gives them nothing to argue with. If contact is unavoidable, use grey rock and narrow the channel. Neutral tone, one platform, set hours, no emotional engagement. This starves the dynamic they're trying to restart. You're not being cold, you're being regulated. And finally, keep a reality checklist. 5 reminders of what was actually real, not the highlight reel. This counters nostalgia and cognitive dissonance when doubt creeps in. If there's any risk of retaliation, stalking, financial control, or physical danger, prioritize safety. Document everything. Get support locally. Your safety matters more than being polite. You can do this without being cruel or collapsing. And here's the part to hold on to, because their return doesn't mean you failed. It often means you're finally breaking the pattern. The fact that they came back after you moved on might be the clearest evidence that you're changing. You're not crazy. This is a known cycle. This is what they want you to believe. If they came back, maybe it's meant to be. But here's the truth. When you stopped feeding the old dynamic, it disrupted their control. Their return isn't destiny, it's predictability. And I know a part of you can still miss them. You can miss the good moments, the chemistry, the version of them you kept hoping would stay. If you feel grief, longing, even a little warmth when they reach out, that doesn't mean you're back at zero. It means you're human. You're allowed to move on without explaining yourself. You didn't lose them, you escaped a cycle. Healing gets quieter and steadier, and you can get there. Every boundary you keep is you choosing your future self. Your story belongs somewhere safe, and you don't have to carry it alone. Subscribe if you're rebuilding after narcissistic abuse. I post daily to help you stay clear and protected. Comment. What did they say when they came back? I want you to see how many of us heard the same script. Next, I'll cover the 7 nice phrases that are actually manipulation. And remember, their return is not your responsibility. It's your invitation to choose you.